Hey guys, my name's Corey and I've been freeze drying for a long time. And one thing that I always get asked is how do you vacuum seal jars like this in a freeze dryer? So today I wanted to cover that, and this will work for most brands of freeze dryers. And really, if you have a vacuum chamber, it'll work too. The great thing about doing it this way is that you get a much deeper vacuum than you would with something like a food saver. So I filled these up previously with pineapple and an oxygen absorber. And the reason for the oxygen absorber is that if you have, somehow trapped air inside of this food, or if you have, just oxygen that's bound to some of the sugars or something in here, then this oxygen absorber will continue to draw out that oxygen and prevent spoilage inside the food. One thing you do want to be careful of when you're using oxygen absorbers is that you have a large enough oxygen absorber for the container that you're in. Because we're putting this under vacuum, I don't have to use that large of an oxygen absorber, but it is just something to keep in mind that if you use a larger container and you're not putting it under a vacuum, you will want to do a larger oxygen absorber. And I can also do this for my oxygen absorber jar. So I like to put my oxygen absorbers inside of a jar to keep them good. And I can also put this jar under vacuum and keep these fresher longer. What I like to do with these jars is I like to tighten them just a little bit tighter than what I think I need to. So you want the air to be able to escape when we put it under vacuum, but when we let the pressure back in, we don't want the pressure to get into the jar. So in order to do that, we need kind of a tighter seal than what you think you might need. So as we repressurize it, it's going to go and suck this down real hard, and it's going to create that seal. But if we leave it too loose, then it just won't seal. It just won't be able to rush in fast enough. So we'll tighten it, and we'll just go just a little tighter than what I think it should be, and then that's good. So we're gonna go and do this to all of the jars. We're gonna tighten it down just finger tight. And same thing with this one. We're just gonna tighten it down just kind of finger tight. The next step is just place the jars on a tray. Another thing that we want to make sure of is that the chamber is completely dry. So oftentimes you'll be doing this after a freeze cycle or after a dry cycle, and there will be water or ice left inside the chamber. If there's any water under here, or if there's any ice left inside the chamber, you do need to take care of that water or ice before you do this process. The reason for that is one, either if there's ice, you won't be able to get the tray rack out, or two, if there's water, then you're gonna suck water into your vacuum pump. So you wanna make sure that this is super dry, and honestly, you can put the food into a jar and leave it there for a couple days while this dries out if you're just doing an air dry, or you can go ahead and kind of, defrost it, manually dry it out with a towel, and then you're ready to go. So again, to start with, we are going to go ahead and take this off. We need to get this out of the chamber. So we're gonna take this front seal off and then slide this out of the chamber. And then you just take this guy, you unplug it. If this water was left inside of the chamber, that water would get sucked inside of the pump, and we just have to change the oil. We'll go ahead and tuck this back in here. We're not gonna need it, and then we will go ahead and reinstall this seal. The next step is to just take our jars and put them inside the chamber. Try not to drop them. Close this up. And then we want to also close the drain valve. We've got to close the drain valve, make sure this is all sealed, just like we would be freeze drying normally. After this is all sealed up, we can go ahead and go to the settings page and then manual hardware control, and we can just toggle on the vacuum pump. So we leveled out at about 5,000 millitorr, and I think what's going on is that there's either a little bit of water in here, or we've got too tight of a seal on some of these jars. So it's just taking a little bit longer than what I thought. But about 5 minutes in, it's 5,000 millitorr. The oxygen absorber will take care of the rest, so I'm gonna go ahead and let the pressure back in. So everything looks like it's sealed up super well. These are all under vacuum now, and they will continue to be oxygen free till the end of time. So pretty much any freeze dryer on the market is going to be able to vacuum seal jars just like this. One of the good things about sealing things in glass jars is that you can get into it and open the lid and then close the lid as many times as you'd like. Unlike a Mylar bag that's going to need to be resealed, a glass jar just doesn't have that issue. The only thing you do want to keep in mind when you are sealing things in glass jars like this is to keep it out of sunlight. Sunlight will destroy vitamin C and other nutrients that are inside of this, so you just want to make sure to protect it against that. Hopefully you found this valuable, and if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us.